Hello again, and welcome to Saviours DND, again, our weekly Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition stream. I hope you are all out there and ready for an entertaining day as we follow the adventures of the Red Wall Saviours in the Forgotten Realms. As ever, we would be really grateful if you follow us here at twitch.tv/SavioursDnD if you have not already. And also our Twitter and our YouTube, which are linked below the stream. And we also post VODs on our YouTube for future usage. If you can't watch the whole stream or need to catch up, or if we miss a week due to scheduling or whatever, and you just want to repeat, it's all there. We are also a Twitch affiliate, so if you wish to sponsor, so subscribe to us.
If you wish to sponsor us, go ahead, right ahead.
That's different. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There will be no pushback.
I am ill, so I'm reading like 3 different lines on my my queue at once.
Yes, this is a fundraiser stream for Squid.
See, you made me cough. I told you.
Yeah.
Don't make me laugh. Yes, your Twitch Prime or indeed, subscription if you want to. We also have a lovely sponsor, which I was sort of trying to read at the same time as that, Libris Arcana. And using the code SAVIOURS, you can get 25% discount from the first month of their monthly dice subscription. We are also giving away a copy, or a set, of their Sang Royale dice, which are very lovely.
Give me a second, I'll get it up on the screen. These dice.
All you need to do is follow us here and also have retweeted the pinned tweet in our Twitter channel. And once we reach 150 followers here on Twitch, we will do a draw and give those dice away free and gratis to
and they're awesome.
One lucky person.
You can see them
I
below.
do not have them myself, and I would love those dice myself.
Yeah, they're lovely. I actually really do. They're sort of like a, what do they call them? Sang Royale, but they're really nice. They're sort of, I love their inflections of sort of, their reds are really sort of vibrant. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I like them.
Royal blood.
Royal blood.
So, before I do a wee recap of last week's shenanigans, I'm just going to pick on Jabber to go first today and introduce himself and his character, because you weren't paying attention in the back there.
Yeah, you in the back. You with the new IKEA furniture. You.
It is IKEA.
I know.
Of course it is.
Who
it's
are
perfect.
you? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Terra and Emeros can sense IKEA from several continents away.
Yeah. That goes without mentioning.
Yes, I am.
Colleagues.
Gabber. I play Salir, the Damphir barbarian, Path of the Blood, Path of the Hemoman. Right now, he is giant.
Sounds pretty sleepy as well.
Yeah. he didn't sleep very well, so he's gonna be real tired all the session.
But wasn't he a mouse or a rat or something?
He is also a rat, larger than average rat. I forgot about that.
You cast enlarge on yourself, but we're getting into the recap, so let's just stick to your characters at the moment, and we'll do the recap. Emeros, because you weren't looking at me there.
Hello.
You can introduce yourself next.
I will.
You're really getting punished for... Go on.
It's alright. I'm Emeros, and I play Cyric, the yuan-ti druid / warlock, and we're in a hole in a cemetery.
Yes, pretty much. Terrorblades.
I have been chosen. I play Mara Clearwater, cleric of Joaquin, human.
Blonde, blue dress.
Dark blonde, yellow eyes. Currently a sort of a dark purplish dress, probably.
Yeah.
Because we had to buy new ones because somebody burnt down my fucking temple.
That's pretty bad. Whoever did that's a real jerk.
Whoever did that is gonna get a cursed wand and
right, save the in-jokes till we're playing the game properly.
Yes, sorry. And she is also accompanied by a dwarven defender, Grovable. gruff
He's
and lovable.
grovable as well.
He's grovable. What does grovable mean?
He'll take that.
Who has sworn to defend her because she did something heroic, I guess. His people.
Yes, she did.
And I control him in combat.
Yes.
Sounded pretty scary.
Yes.
Control him in combat. I mean,
control him.
he has his own autonomy,
No.
And last but by no means least, Mr. Dombro
Hello.
and Alton.
Yes, I play Alton. He is right there on your screen. He is a gnome. He is a bard. Actually, I have updated our screen that you were seeing as well because we leveled up last week or the week before.
The very beginning of last week, yeah.
So it's we're level up, and I have the relevant HP upgrades and whatnot, and new ACs if they are applicable. Everything except for Garvin. Anyway, Alton is a gnomish bard. He is from the Feywild, so he gets easily confused by the normal material realm of Faerun. He is a mute. He cannot speak. He speaks through a white magical raven named Quill. Pretty sweet. We're underground right now in a crypt.
Yeah.
And it's, backing down some drow. Good times.
Yeah, so where we find the party at the moment is they have been tasked by the city of Neverwinter to find and deal with the remainder of a cadre of drow society called the Silken Woe. Now, they know they have a safe area located somewhere underneath the city in the upper Underdark. And after capturing and extracting information from a couple of low-level members, the Neverwinter Guard managed to give the party details of a crypt within the vast Neverdeath graveyard in Neverwinter, where they could find egress down through the tunnel systems and towards the lair or the local lair of these Silken Woe drow. You travelled through the graveyard and encountered a number of gruesome undead, ghasts and skeletons, and a bone claw, which I can't remember which character rolled high enough to know what the bone claw was.
Oh.
Anyway, I think it was Mara actually, but
it would stand to reason that the cleric would.
But one of you realised that it was this was basically someone who had tried to achieve lichdom and had failed in the ritual casting to become a lich, and had then become an immortal tool for someone else's will. They are controlled by other wizards or indeed other liches. And he was a creepy bastard.
Yeah. Kept pointing at me.
Silent but deadly.
He kept pointing at you and failing his rolls.
Yeah. Wisdom check.
You have managed to deal with him and the skeletons. You have solved a small puzzle that obviously the Silken Woe had put in place to stop people finding the entrance to their tunnel easily. And you are now in a small excavated cave that's, I think, about 15 feet across or something like that, and about 7 feet tall. Underneath the mausoleum of Count Drathad himself. You have looked at some chests that are here, that there was a bit of money in them, but mostly it was some sort of bits and pieces to help the drow as they went into the city. There was cloaks to disguise themselves more easily with big hoods, and there were some basic equipment and things like that. And as referred to, Salir had enlarged cast upon himself and couldn't move down here, so he has now been polymorphed into a rat, but a rat that has enlarge on it. So he's, what did we say? The spell enlarge, is it double your height or something? So is it a rat that's twice the normal size and 4 times the normal weight, I think?
Pretty much.
At this moment in time, we're not going to be too worried. And that is where we find ourselves. You have not decided whether or not to take a short rest yet, or whether you're going to press on into whatever comes next. But so far, all you do know is that other than the steps back up the way you came, there is a single tunnel leading out of this. It leads out and down from this small, sort of, as I say, excavated cave that you find yourselves in at the moment.
Yeah, where we were in like.
Weren't we deciding if we were going to try and fool our way in? Because I believe I disguised myself. Yeah.
You had shown the others your mask of many faces that you can change, and then yes, you had been deciding as a party whether, if you came across some Silken Woe, whether a couple of you would pretend to be members of the Silken Woe with prisoners, or indeed just scout ahead as Silken Woe to see if you can distract anyone that you come across.
Well, yeah, with that sort of talk and with Sirik showing his abilities, I think Alton will take out his disguise kit. He'll move some of his various materials that he uses for prosthetics to one side. I can make. He looks to Mara. Make you look like a drow.
Oh, okay.
But I will be a prisoner.
Oh.
What?
That's
you can't change yourself then?
Looks down at the ground, which is 2.5 feet away from him. Not sure. Unless you only need to be some kind of drow child.
I mean, the drow have children, but
listen,
okay.
You want me? You're saying that I am to pretend to be a prisoner? I'll make you weep with my performance.
Now you're enticing me, Alton. Fine, I'll take it.
Do we have any burlap sacks?
We would have some, maybe from... Or how big?
How big?
Because we did get some sacks for the coin. Otherwise, I don't know.
Okay, well, essentially what he was going to do is make a little bag for himself to tie himself up in, not unlike Dobby the house elf.
Oh.
What about your illusion magics? Got anything that could help you there? Maybe a rope illusion or something that can make your hands look tied.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. That's easier.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
And he just sort of picks up mud off the ground and just bedraggles himself a bit on the face.
Like he needs it.
Yeah, he probably didn't need to.
Well, if we go through with this, maybe, Alton, I can link your mind with mine. And you can just be on lookout while we're down there.
Oh.
Just to see how people react. Just commute.
Oh yeah,
if we maybe tie your mouth or something, then you can just...
Also, and he opens his mouth and casts minor illusion, and it's got a cut tongue in there.
Okay. What?
It's good.
I guess. Yeah, I was just thinking, how much of Drow society do we know about?
I don't think we have made any rolls to actually.
It's one of the things after you're going to have this chat. I was going to see, does anyone want to know what their characters know about the Underdark and Drow?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So anyone that feels it's appropriate for their character to know something is great. Try.
Terror, is your
absolutely.
phone next to your mic?
Me?
Yeah,
It's far away. Maybe it's a fucking tab.
I
maybe.
can't hear any.
I was getting
can't
some
hear
feedback, but that might just be me. Maybe I'm the
I didn't
problem.
notice anything.
No, I've
that
not
better?
heard any on my end.
Okay, just maybe.
It's your own phone back. Feeding
Yeah.
It could just be you.
Phone's over there.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's your
Anyway.
computer.
Can I have
My
phone's
advantage because
there.
I'm a half elf?
Maybe.
Can you have what? Sorry, Java?
Advantage because I'm a half elf.
Nope.
Alright.
Ceric
Wow.
would know
There you
go.
nothing.
Wouldn't I
Maybe-
know? Just because I'm half of something that they're not.
So let's think. Who's making history checks, and if you've made it, what have you rolled?
Ceric wouldn't know.
Salir has heard of Drow and knows that they are evil versions of elves, and they live underground. That's about it.
Do wonder if Mara would know.
All Alton knows is they have a
Because
strange allergy to fire.
I mean, the one thing which I've said to you before, Dombro, is with Alton and in the background that he has a bard, he's, in off time spoken with other bards, exchanged stories.
I think particularly
I think-
since the ambushes and stuff, I think he would have just even
So I
if
think-
it
I
hasn't
think it's
happened in real time in the game, I imagine
Yeah.
it's he would be listening out and trying to learn more about these things. So I'm gonna roll.
So I think it's relevant.
Yeah. Let's see. History. Actually,
History.
my history's pretty good.
Mhm.
I think Mara would know because it would be the type of thing of what did you get?
Oh, the crits!
That's
the
a
crits!
natural
Oh.
20. That's a finger gun. Finger guns
Ooh.
are only for killing.
That's what cool guys do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, ladies, you and me tonight.
This is now
yeah.
forever now going to be our Red Dead Redemption 2 stream.
Yeah.
Howdy,
Finally.
cowboy.
Howdy, cowboy.
I'm gonna do this too, because
Yeah.
everyone loves moves, right? Anyway, natural 20, which brings me to
Okay.
a total of 36. Randomly.
Yeah, I can't even beat that.
Oh,
Never
not
mind.
36. I apologize. That is incorrect.
That's
20,
amazing.
26.
Possibly be 36.
26.
It's 20
26.
Yeah.
I can't beat that
I
either.
have a plus 16 to my history check.
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
listen, guys, give me a break. I'm tender today, okay? It's been a long weekend.
I rolled a 4. It's a dirty 20. Right. Anyway. So, Alton,
Yes, my liege.
I think with that, you have heard two main things. So, let's talk about the Underdark particularly.
Mhm.
You with that, you know that the general conception of the Underdark is that it is a vast interconnecting web of tunnels and cavern systems that basically almost mimics the above ground that links one side of the earth to the world to the other.
Like a second
And-
floor.
Yes, and that is the reality which you know, because some reason you've managed to come across someone and shared a couple of beers with someone who was quite an expert of dungeonology, a true student. And it isn't a single unified system. There are great subterranean civilizations that live down here. And it is also very easy to get lost because it isn't designed. Those bits that have been connected have usually been carved out of the bedrock, and it's been either through great magic or feats of labor that have managed to connect it. But there's no real architectural thought process. It's very random and quite.
It's not like going into some dwarven. There's no architectural
exactly.
norm.
There's
to
no
it.
architecture at all.
So there's no mean
Um,
by which to judge the Underdark. You might get sections of it which may be cut out, and you might get just utter chaos of
You need to-
natural selection and stuff.
Absolutely, that's it. it is a breeding place for a lot of monsters. It's a very dangerous place.
Okay.
But it also has an unworldly, startling beauty, you've been told. Although it is underground, it quite often is dimly lit by fluorescent, bioluminescent, either crystals or magma or fungi and other types of plant life that exude low level light. So it's very seldom pitch dark. It can
but
also
it's also
go,
very seldom lit.
yes, it can also go from very close, tight tunnels to gigantic caverns that are hundreds, if not thousands, of feet across.
Okay.
Um,
So, I mean, to say all that information will probably solidify in a certain way, and the way it will be visible to the rest of the party is as we're preparing here. Alton's making sure he's got stocks. He's making sure all of his weapons are like where he needs them to be. But yeah, like things like he's organizing his jam so that he can get to it. Because he, essentially, and he would probably say if someone asks, we could be in for a long trip here.
And I think the last thing you know about the Underdark is the upper Underdark, which they have said that your destination lies, can be anything. It's considered the first 3 miles below the surface. So you could go as far as 3 miles deep and still be considered in the upper Underdark. Most of the deep civilizations are in the middle Underdark, which is between 3 and 10 miles deep.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I have that information.
Yeah.
As far as Drow are concerned, although you got a crit, I think you'll not get as much information just because not a lot of people know about, and I'm basing this on where you get your information from. If you'd crit being in a library, then I would have given you more, but because it's sort of man in the pub told me type stuff, they're usually considered highly evil and very cruel.
Yep.
They are a matriarchal-based society where the matron mothers run houses, and they are absolute leaders. There is a lot of conflict between them, very political-based in their cities, and they mostly worship a goddess called Lolth, sometimes known as the Spider Queen. And again, she is an incredibly evil deity. Some Drow have come to the surface and rejected their history, so they are not evil incarnate by nature, but they are definitely a species to be mistrusted widely.
Sure. I mean, I think that's less a story that I heard from a man in a pub, more my experience with them. Like I probably heard that they were
absolutely.
Matriarchal through a man in a pub. I don't think Alton would have picked up on that. But I think he absolutely would know that they are pretty much dicks, and he understands what an asshole is. So that's the way he's judging them, and also he is convinced that they have an allergy to fire and they really hate fire. So
I think most mammals
all
have
the
an
priestesses
allergy to
he's
fire.
come across go pop when he when he fireballs them. So
I consider myself to have an allergy to fire. So yeah. do you? Is this? I think maybe what I meant to ask was: are you going to have a conversation about this with the party before you move on? I know I've sort of just dumped information.
Yeah,
that
that's
you
an
would have had all
information
along,
dump.
but-
Like, I don't really know what
Yeah.
to do with. I mean, essentially, it would require people it coming up. I guess I don't know. But like, I mean, when we're ready, I'm definitely hearing.
Yeah.
Oh
Definitely.
shit! Sorry,
That's Terra's phone this time, everybody.
Yeah.
I knew it. I've got super
Yes, I
senses.
got it.
I,
Spidey sense. You
I
drown.
think Dombro's actually just some sort of.
Yes, the
Is it?
government antenna.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't hear
Um,
Russian radio in your mouth either.
Yeah.
La, 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 right back there.
Yeah.
Um,
Turns out it's just hockey scores. I don't.
yeah.
I guess is there a point in me rolling a check or
A check?
Check for what? Sorry, you've lost me.
Drow
History.
history about Drow? I mean, I'm not going to beat his score, but my
No,
knowledge
you're-
base.
you're-
might
I
be
mean,
different.
yes, you can, so you would know that Mara would, but you're not going to get any more than what I've already told.
No. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only time Alton would start speaking about how the Drow are is if we were going to be in a situation, or I mean, if we're leaving where we are and moving forward, I guess Alton would fill them in that female Drow are more deadlier than the male ones, and that they're in charge essentially, so that if we do get into a situation where we have to act accordingly, the Maras of the group will be in charge essentially.
Can Alton say that like David Attenborough?
Here we are in the upper Underdark. There are spiders everywhere, and the Whammons are in charge.
I am being told in a slave line.
Yeah, so there you go. There's your Attenborough.
Jesus Christ.
But well, yeah, no. Essentially,
Left it.
but to bring it back in, essentially, if we're on the move and he's assuming his prisoner affect, he will say Mara will be in charge. The other two will more than likely be heavies. To Mara's at Mara's request, and he will fill in Mara with as much socio-political information as he actually knows, so that she can kind of learn it and have it on the top of her tongue. You know, so if she can just sort of, she knows how to speak to people, she'll understand. Like, you know, I know Alton doesn't know it all, but he'll probably know the various seats of power, right, on some level.
And you've also witnessed them,
The priestesses and the wizard.
priestesses and
Yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you all have had direct contact.
Yep.
So are you doing your disguise kit here? Are you just discussing this and then choosing a
Here-
point in the future to do it?
Here is my question. The disguise kit, it's not a timed thing, right? You can just do it and you have the disguise on until you decide to take it off, is my thought. I have like 5 uses for the disguise kit. Is it a case of I can use 2 uses for it to just last? Or what way do you want to do it? How do you want to do this, Squid?
Right. So all it actually says is it lets you add your proficiency bonus to any ability check to create a visual disguise, which is pretty. I would say having it done permanently, no, because that just doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
However, I think I'd be happy to say one use would do a disguise which is going to work to whatever level the roll
The roll is
decides
short.
for 8 hours,
Okay.
let's say. So it's not a short thing.
No,
But
absolutely
it's
not. I
also
think
not
so.
permanent.
As we first start our entry into the upper Underdark, what Alton will be doing is he will sort of be at the back of the party, and he will be doing things like working on little tops of ears and things like that, and sort of prostheses, and so that it's parts of the costume are semi-permanent, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I
So that
understand.
it will just be a matter of taking 10-15 minutes off to the side and
glue on the pointy ears,
but and getting
things
the
like
color right and things like that, you know.
that. Absolutely.
So whenever we'll see, it won't be a case that if we hear noise, he'll then start to do it. I guess if we're in any sort of thought process at all that we're in touching distance or in any danger of meeting a drow or a hunting
I think
party.
You will know as well that to use a disguise kit effectively, you know that you probably need about half an hour to actually put it together.
And I would be doing.
It's not here's a wig, for it to be effective. It takes time.
And I'd be doing Salir and I'd be doing Mara. So presumably Kassira could just. Oof.
And then you and Garvin shall be captives.
Yep.
Mara will sort of. I don't speak their language. I don't know how we'll get past that. If I'm supposed to be commanding, I need to be able to command.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Can we roll some type of check to see what their language is closest to?
We would have heard them talk to each other.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't speak Elven or Undercommon. Would Drow be more like one or the other? Or no, wait, Drow doesn't exist 5e. Sorry, Undercommon. Yeah. So
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Squeak.
I mean, I guess with this sort of information,
I agree with
it might be an easy. It's in terms of how we're going to be presenting ourselves. It might just be a nice way to get past a certain point, but like if there's actual real interaction needs to happen, that I guess we need to avoid that.
Did anybody speak Undercommon?
No, not me.
No, because then
Darvin would have been our best chance, and he doesn't.
No. Otherwise, we could have.
He gave you a dissertation that he wouldn't sully his mouth with such shit.
Yes, but that's not what we asked, Garvin. Do you speak it?
Yeah.
Secretly, he's just incredible. But
yeah,
it wouldn't help as the prisoner guy. But I guess what we're doing is we have a visual concealment as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. So we're essentially just gaining.
We
distance.
might be able to walk through if we come into a city. If we come to a city, or we come to, it's harder if it's like a small interaction. You might just have to nod.
Your expectation as to what you were told by Per and Zan that they had extracted from the members of Silken Woe is you're just expecting this to be the Underdark equivalent of a safe house or a small compound.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a town or a city or anything like that. The vast majority of the Neverwinter Silken Woe were killed or captured in the attack on the Temple of Joaquin. So they are really sending you down to sort of purge the remnants.
They're on their
heels.
The
expectation, yes. And they want to make sure that they don't manage to regain their power and their foothold here. So they've sort of sent you down as
would it be acceptable for us, from what we've seen out of them athletically, to assume that they've got some serious cardio gains? Like we might be in for a long travel here.
Potentially. I mean, from your history check, you could, this place you're seeking could be 100 yards away, or it could be 20 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. The expectation from the way it's been described is it's probably more close to the city than
because they've been so mobile in their attacks. It would make sense that they're able to get in and they're able to disappear quick. I don't even know that. Yeah,
it's reasonable for you all to think 2 or 3 miles is more realistic than 20.
Okay, I guess we all. What's happened to Terror? What the hell is that?
I think that's my girlfriend's at the door, and I've got to go and let her in.
Ah, yes. Another matriarchy in the Terror House.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be.
That's usually what the text message is.
Yeah.
First-hand experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I want to live.
Yeah, I think you can assume, or it's safe to assume, that we're going in there expecting a fight around every corner, then, or expecting we could just walk into. So that's different.
Yeah.
That's
so
different
with
than
that,
sure.
Well, who is taking lead?
Me and Garvin. and I will cut. I have 40 feet of rope, which I've had since episode 4, when 10 feet of it was snapped off. I will cut 5 feet. I will cut 10 feet and half that 10 feet with my dagger, and we will just hold that around our wrists, essentially.
Okay, well, roll me a deception check just to see how, or well, let's say dexterity.
No, let's do deception.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, let's do that.
This is just to see visually how good it looks to the casual eye.
Okay, so that's a total of 30.
Okay, that's fine. You keep a
my
note of
plus
that.
11.
You keep a note of that. It may or may not become
necessary
or not.
I understand, but well, okay, so I'll tell you, I'll explain how it's done, right? So it's a loop over the two things, and then it's sort of the last one comes back through those loops that have been made, but they're over the thumbs. So if we need to do that and just open them, but other than that, it looks bound. Cool. I haven't done it in real life.
I don't have someone tied up in the strongbox by me. No.
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up. Bring out the hammer again if you don't shut up.
You enjoy the D&D.
You watch on Twitch.
Yeah. Are you subbed? All right, carry on.
Yeah, so that's fine. That is all well and good. Are you? I know, for intents and purposes, are you? The other thing is, who's leading, as in navigating, and are you all trying to stealth as a group?
Crap, Mark, the dark.
I'll do what I'm told, essentially.
You'll do what? Sorry.
I'll do as I'm told. So Alton is very much in character. His head's down.
Maybe.
See.
Let's just make sure that our captive does not wear the hoods that we found.
No, I have no hood on. I'm just dressed as normal.
Because I believe we took one each last time, just for.
I took 2.
Continuity's sake.
I took 2, and also just for brevity, there is still a big rat running alongside me.
Yes.
How do we cover Garvin? Because he needs the weapon, the shield, everything. And he's going to clank if he has them on him.
Well, that's if we're stealthing.
And I think when you say that, Garvin says, if deception is the way forward that you wish to go, then you cannot have me with axe and shield, because I don't know a lot about Drow, but they are intelligent, they're strategic, and they're not going to believe any of their brethren left a dwarf with an axe and a shield.
I don't know, I'm a really good performer. I make friends very easily.
Well, how about you just hand her? If you hand us your weapons, we can.
I can put them into
we can just carry them, I suppose.
I think
before he finishes that, Alton will take off his wraps. He will take one of the robes that he has, turn it inside out.
Wait a minute. Garvin is wearing full plate.
Yeah?
Wait, no, I don't think Mara would know I don't know if she would know what a Duragar is.
No. Let Alton finish.
Sorry.
Yeah, Alton just turns it inside out, so the logo essentially is not facing out, just looks like a robe. And he will just put the robe over his axe and his stuff. It's on him.
Yeah.
But it's essentially, he's just like hunched over with the cloth over the top of him with his hands up like that. Visually, upon inspection, obviously he will have his axe, but by the time they find that, they'll have an axe to the face.
We have talked with.
This is something. It's distance, because if they're actually getting up that close, you're all fucked. Because nobody can speak Undercommon, and you know that as a party.
Exactly. This is a visual. We might be able to cross a border. Potentially.
We have talked with Garvin about Duragar. They have been attacked by them before. I think we talked about that with him.
I don't know
that they might try
to
resurface and take back some stuff from them, from what I remember.
Maybe I can't remember.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. So anyway, then we would just need to make him slightly more pale and make his beard white.
but he's still going to be a slave that you wouldn't expect to have a weapon and a shield.
No. Well,
Yeah.
The Drow
So
and Durgar aren't cool with each
him
other.
looking like a Durgar rather than
Yeah.
a dwarf is actually not going to help you any.
No.
no.
And,
No.
and
Dwarves
Alton
and
would know
elves.
that from
It's
his-
not a good.
yeah.
It's not a good look.
We're heading into a Drow camp.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe
The
Should
main
we
thing is that we might.
roll
We
with
might.
this.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I mean, I'm
Sounds fun.
I'm not.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
stealthing or anything. I mean, I don't know why
Well,
we would if
that's
we've got the. But that's just me as the prisoner.
With Alton again, make another disguise kit check. Don't
Sure.
actually take a one of your units off it, but
Okay.
this is to see the effectiveness of what you're trying to do with the
Rope.
the cloak, and just make it look
Yeah.
like he's carrying a backpack and not actually weapons.
It's just my spell modifier.
Mhm.
Okay, I rolled a 19. That's 24.
Okay, that's fine. Because I think what Alton's maybe done is he's taken maybe some of the knickknacks in one of the other
Yeah,
chests.
I'm changing the
and
shape.
sort of- and build, yes, changed its shape.
Yeah.
So he's sort of built it out so it actually looks like
Looks like a
there's
big hood or
a-
something.
Or actually, what I was thinking
Maybe
about
this-
is like the frame of a backpack
Yeah, sure.
is disguising the shape
Yeah.
of the weapon.
And I
the
might have
shape.
put his axe from facing up to his axe might be facing down now, so it might just
Yeah,
be
exactly.
just a little
Alright.
visual trick. That's all.
And that also goes with the fact that slaves get made to carry the heavy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Alton.
Good.
Alton's just cool as a breeze. Oh no, he's got a rapier on him. The thing is, like, it's not going to be used. I think he probably puts his short sword inside in his backpack.
Yeah.
It's not a big part of his thing.
No.
Before we're setting out, I'm just gonna say if this takes a long time, Surik will continuously cast Mask of Many Faces on himself at will, just to
That's fine.
keep the disguise up,
Mhm.
not just
Because
walk
that's something that you can do without having to worry about it as well.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's not a problem.
just
at all.
renewing.
And
You know.
I guess I'll wait for someone. Alton would be ready to. I believe, like by the time we need the costumes, like the ears and stuff, and maybe the facial molds will be ready. But like obviously the face paints and stuff will need to be done, and that's what'll take probably the half hour,
Yeah.
the administration of that. So
Well, let's move on and see. So at this moment in time, we're still where we started in this cavern underneath the mausoleum. Who is taking responsibility for navigating you?
I could, I suppose, for all time's sakes.
I will ask you to roll a survival check in that case.
Mara's gonna try and act as
14.
Sorry, Mara's going to try and what?
like leader-ish as she can, as she would imagine the Drow leader of the group would act. She's trying to basically perform.
Just to be clear, at this moment in time, you're not dressed up as a drow.
Yeah. She's practicing.
Right. She's practicing. That's fine. Okay, so you make your way, and the path is a rough-hewn tunnel that descends quite steeply down. There's quite a gradient. I mean, not enough to like fall and slip, but it winds backwards and forwards, and you can tell, and I think Garvin would probably tell you as well with his stone cunning, is that it's quite relatively cut out, this tunnel, and it's not been done with any particular skill. It's just been done functionally as quickly as possible. And whilst you're not trying to be overly stealthy, you're walking along. It is very dark, but Mara's got her light cantrip, and after about 20 minutes, half an hour of walking, you see the walls start to change texture, and from hewn through bedrock, it seems to be like a more natural tunnel that this is broken into, and then the cavern expands out, and you find yourself standing in a very large open cavern, and you assume that
Delete.
you have arrived in the upper Underdark proper. There is, although the picture I've put the in Roll20 is sort of purple, but there are purples, there are blues, there are reds, there are greens, there are yellows, and as I explained with Alton's history check, this rainbow plethora of color, though dim,
Comes from the fungus, the
extremely
walls.
beautiful. Yeah, it's coming from the ceiling, the walls. Some of it, there's pools of water, and some of it's illuminated from below with this bioluminescence from various different plants and fungi and moss and things.
I think Alton will just give an eye to the rat, and he'll consider how long he's been a rat.
Mm-hmm.
How long is
just
he?
about to come to that. How
Yeah.
long does enlarge and how long does polymorph last?
Polymorph lasts up to
An hour.
1 hour.
Enlarge it lasted 4 hours.
Okay. So you know that he has been a rat for about 40 minutes now.
Okay. All right. He's just keeping note.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can stop it at any time. I mean, there's no risk to size-wise here if you wish to turn him back into Salir.
No, I will, unless if I think we're in danger or that we're going to be having some kind of a potential problem, I'll just leave him as is, and I'll keep feeding him cheese and stuff, and make his time as comfortable as possible.
Which he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting it, so his fangs say otherwise.
The one thing that you can see here is that there's quite a lot of sort of silt and it's quite damp on the ground. So footsteps and tracks seem to be quite easy to follow here, going from where you are to thing. But again, if we just have one more survival check just to make sure you don't mix up anything with anything.
Oof.
22.
Damn.
So you can see that, there have been most recently the large numbers of what you suspect are the drow going up, the way you have come from, obviously preparing for the attack on the Temple of Joaquin. And such large numbers, although they have attempted quite well to be stealthy, it's very difficult to completely hide the tracks of so many troops going through here. So you can follow them through this big cavern. And again, I think this cavern is like hundreds of meters across. And whilst you're slowly following it, Salir, the polymorph spell eventually runs out and you reappear as Big Salir. I don't know if you want to say anything or respond to anything you've heard while you've been a rat before I move on.
Squeak.
Squeak.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a flat thing. It's many layered, so you're moving along. You're having to scramble up little bits, scramble down little bits, and eventually it narrows down, and you find yourself in another tunnel, which again is more natural. I think Garvin would say to you that this looks like an old lava tube or something that has been pushed through other types of rock. Not so steep, but still going down. And I think maybe an hour passes, and you are going through the twistings and turnings. Cyric will maybe take you up one path and then actually know of taking a wee bit of backstepping. And so even though Cyric rolled very well in his survival check and he doesn't get you lost as a party, it's very obvious to all of you that this is an incredibly confusing place. It's a labyrinth with no design, and it would be very easy to be quite badly lost here.
Pop goes the Salir, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Trap.
Should we bind his hands as well?
Salir.
Alton has a disguise for him, but
And
Alton,
this is what I was going to say, is at what point do you want to choose to put the disguises on?
yeah, I think it's about that time.
Yeah.
As this stuff starts to become more relevant. First of all, what he does is he waves his hand over Salir and he dispels the enlarge. And no, he just turns smaller Salir. And then he will sort of he'll hand them out their different ears.
I already have pointed ears.
These are better. These are more drow-like. He spent a lot of time on them. He will expect you to wear them. Whether you do or not is completely up to Salir. And then he will go about making his granite complexion, essentially. And he will start applying that to Mara's arms and her front, her sternum and face and her ears and her neck and all the places that could potentially give her away by a movement of a robe. He will obviously overdo it, sort of thing, so there's not a chance of like human flesh, like sort of thing. Because Mara always does this. It's her special move. And he'll start doing it to Salir. I'm sure he will really appreciate it. Knowing Salir, he's probably enjoying it thoroughly.
I think Salir will probably start taking over himself because he knows how to do body paint.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
And what about their hair? Because all of the drow that you have so far encountered have bone white hair.
Is it limestone?
He hands Salir the rope with a hood on it. That's his solution.
Okay, well, that's fine.
But there is no bleach in the upper Underdark.
Is there any like limestone or any like?
I don't know. Would I have like a whitening?
Material?
So if
I mean, I think in the disguise kit we can say there's that's just part of a little bottle of bleach is part of it if you want to go that
if
far.
there is that,
Sure.
if there is that, then I will apply that as well. So I suppose if it's taking half an hour, that would make sense to why it's taking half an hour. And I'll definitely remember to do their eyebrows. Don't want to be given away by the eyebrows, girls.
Yeah.
Roll the disguise kit and let's see how convincing this is.
It's anyone whose eyebrows and hair doesn't match.
That's good. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. You take the time and you stand back and you're pretty proud of your. I don't know, what do Mara and Salir think when they look at each other and you see each other, you recognize each other as Mara and Salir, but transformed quite expertly into drow versions of yourselves.
I think Mara's first instinct will try to be and scratch her own face because
Heavy. Alton will slap your hand.
There's a 14 hit you, Mara.
There's a what? There's a what?
Does a 14 hit you, he said.
No, I don't think so. What, did you slap me?
But I imagine the whole way through, Alton's getting really into it. He's like your favorite hairdresser. He's got small little shined up dagger showing you the different angles. Like,
Yeah.
So your holidays booked yet this year?
Yeah.
Oh,
a priest.
a Caribbean cruise. That sounds nice. I always wanted to do a cruise.
bitch.
Oh.
And you brought Garvin today. How are you? Yeah.
This whole stream is like a fever dream to me today.
Nice.
I'll bring out the bird mask. It'll complete it all.
So you take that time and you move on. Are you still being? I know you're not like crashing about, but you're not being overtly stealthy still? Is that still the party's choice?
Alton will do it. As I said,
Well-
Alton is relying on other people who understand these things hopefully better.
I'll be right back.
I.e. Cyric. It's like he
Yeah, I think from time to
Jesus
time,
Christ, Sarah.
Sarek would take a look around to see if, like, we're not being followed or anything, actually.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Did
Perception
Jared change his
coming
dice
right
up.
in the last hour?
Yeah, he did.
No, well, that's
Yeah.
another 22.
Just another 22. Roll me a flat d20. Let's see.
19 people are following you.
A 7.
7 people are.
We can take
following
7 people.
No, roll me a d12.
Oh man, what's going on? It's gonna be people, isn't it? It's gonna be the rust ones. Something.
Another 7.
Okay.
Your numbers? We don't know, Dan.
Now roll me one more 7.
Yes. Roll me
Nah.
7.
I rolled a D7, but I only got a
Yeah, you got 1d7.
No, you're right the first time. It's the Axe body spray guy, Dan, and
It's Old
God
Spice.
knows it's terror.
We don't
It's
ask
probably
questions.
best. Yeah, it's probably best not to think about it too much. As you are completing the yeah, and I think it's fair to say Salir, Mara, and Alton are a little bit more involved and are distracted. But Cyric's obviously been there and has been very good about keeping watch.
Can I just ask something quickly?
Yeah.
Just for, I don't know, we might have like to do. It's weird. What does your drow look like, Cyric? Magically gained.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I think it would probably be a cross between the ones that he has actually seen. So maybe he has taken the nose of Drow
Ah, yeah.
and just compiled it into something that he finds. Yes, this I think will do.
Compilation piece. Be interesting as
yeah.
someone who's not. Well, he's your character's humanoid, but he's someone who's never had a nose before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it serves no function.
Well, I know
mean,
that, but it's probably his depth perception's probably all over the place.
And
Oh,
don't
yeah.
worry, I'm not picking up Mortikainen's tone of foes for any particular reason.
Sure.
No.
Of course
I
not.
just take this thing to browse. So you're in you've gone back into one of these other sort of larger caverns, which is where rather than deciding to stop in the middle of a narrow tunnel, and as they are getting to the end of finishing these, and you're looking about, Cyric, you just hear what sounds like a human child weeping.
You looked at Alton, that's not him.
He just looks around, but he doesn't spot anything. He just notices the sound.
At this moment in time, because there's lots of nooks and crannies and backwards and forwards, it's not just a big open circular room. It seems to be coming from. It's not like. It's quiet sobbing, so you think it's quite close to you, to your right hand side, but.
Guys, I think we might not be alone anymore. And he sort of fixates his glare to where he thinks the sound's coming from, and just looks around to see if there are cracks
think
where the noise might come from.
in that moment, Alton says, "Yes, just stop hitting me," and he goes into character.
Okay. You don't have to roll anything else, because with your original 22, Cyric, you know that the sound seems to be coming from just behind a small rocky outcrop about 20 feet to your right-hand side. And it's this rocky outcropping that seems to be blocking your view.
Mara is extremely tense.
Do you guys hear that?
And you all do once Cyric points it out.
Celia checks the
Just
ceiling.
a gentle weeping.
First instinct, check the ceiling.
Yeah.
Cloaker hits you in the face. No.
Not again.
It's dark mantles this time.
We're ready.
You've had dark mantles before.
Also, we have.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Cloakers is not done. Anyway, sorry.
The drop bear.
Mara will tense. Can we roll something to try and figure out why the hell there would be a crying child in the Underdark?
There's literally no roll you can do.
Yeah.
I suggest we stay clear from that area.
Is it?
Yeah.
I do not trust these parts.
Is it the way we have to go?
Well, is it? According to my survival.
The path's going to go past it, yeah. So you're going to have to go closer to it before you move on.
Well, maybe we should just stay clear from that area and move as far away from it as possible.
Maybe if we do not make eye contact, it will not pay attention to. Just like
I
a
don't
real
know.
child.
What if it is just an errant child, like one of the ones who was poor in the Neverwinter City?
That just happened to go into a graveyard, into a crypt behind a weird.
Poor thing might need help.
Then we'll pick it up on our way out.
No, we're killing it.
If we-
comes later.
If we get out.
Oh.
If
Are
it's
you
still
all
leaving
are
there.
you all talking out
Yep.
loud like this?
Yeah.
So I think then you hear sort of the sniveling sort of stops. Is there somebody there? I'm so alone. Please help me.
Do not respond. Let's just walk.
Please.
Can I look in the direction from which that noise is coming? Is there anything moving, or is there any way?
Where the sound is coming from is completely obscured by a sort of a rocky outcropping at this moment in time. You could move maybe about 15 feet closer, and you would probably have some sort of vision.
I'm still following Cyric's lead, so whatever he says to do, I'm just gonna do.
No.
He's saying to ignore it. Alton is.
If she, whatever it is stuck, then I'll be stuck if we on our way out.
If he dies, he dies.
Please
What?
help me.
It
I've
will-
been stuck down here for days.
Does it hurt to look? It's
Can
really
I do?
pulling at Mara's heartstrings.
Do you have
Ho-
any water? I'm
Hold on,
so
can I-
thirsty.
Alton needs to know if this is someone is lying.
Mm.
So what am I rolling?
Insight, yeah.
Okay, I'm better at lying than I am at insight, so we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, I got a +0, which is a +1.
Ooh. I mean,
Oh my god, it's a real baby.
Well, it's not a baby. It sounds like a child, but yeah, you
Let me
feel that
roll a morality
Yeah.
check.
can Mara try and roll an
I got
insight?
real low on that
Yeah, of
morality.
course.
Are you rolling your grey dice? Because you're
Am I
morally grey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on you go, Mara.
The joke
Yeah.
was. Oh.
Yeah. Haha!
Ha ha!
Real
wait.
finger, like all good jokes.
Here's the
It's a
one.
child.
Here's the one who
That
stole
was
my
an
husband.
adult.
I
That's
got
how you know
a-
the DM. That's how you know you're doing a good job.
Oh, God.
fuck. I'm fucking dying.
If Emerald dies, do we get his XP? I got a 23.
You're pretty sure that they are. It's a small child who's very scared and thirsty and hungry.
Jesus.
I guess with that, you're going to definitely see Alton get very uncomfortable with leaving this, with not going. But he's
We
still
need to
going to
go
listen
and
to
look.
Cyric, but he's very uncomfortable with it. He already was, but now he's even more so because he really thinks it's a kid.
Yeah, no, Mara's convinced that it's a kid.
So was
need to go
Alton
and
with
look.
a 6, to be fair.
I rolled a morality. I rolled a 5. I don't give a crap.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right.
So, I
We
mean,
need to go and look. We have to go and look.
no.
I think
No,
Alton is still
we're doing-
doing whatever the survivalist is saying to do. So
And I think that, please, I'm so hungry and I'm so thirsty. My parents and I were captured by these horrible dark elves, and I managed to run away. I don't know what's happened to my mummy and daddy.
We'll help you.
I think they're making them mine.
Acidic. We need to move.
Yes, let's hurry up. We got a mission to do.
No, we have to help the child.
Alton will.
It was.
Alton was like, Mara, we'll get her on the way back. Alton takes
We
some
can give
jam.
him some food.
Alton takes some of his jam out, and he puts
Can
it.
I attempt? I'm sorry.
You're right, man. I was just gonna say he puts it down on the ground, and Quill will sort of fly up, and he will say, "There is jam left on the path. If you are still here when we're coming back, we will bring you with us.
We have actual food, ration.
Where we are going, we
Can-
may not return from."
I think Cyric will attempt
And
to.
then, everyone make a perception check.
Do you notice the mind flayer? I get 50.
11.
Oh, that's 22 again.
God,
Damn.
amazing.
14.
And you all just see a wee small, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. It could almost be Mara as a child. Sort of poke its head round the corner of the rocky outcrop. Now
Just
about
before
15
Mara's
feet
awkward
from
face.
you, just going, please, can you take me back to my mummy and daddy?
I think at this point,
Eldritch Blast.
Cyric will. Yes.
Well,
No.
bear in mind, Cyric did roll a 22. Just putting it out there. If that's too low, then that's too low.
I think that he will attempt to persuade the party that our mission actually comes first, because literally our lives are at stake to some degree. We have to do this, if I am to remember correctly, to not be thrown in jail.
Okay.
Besides, didn't she just say that she was stuck?
Her parents were trapped. They were stuck. They're mining. Mara
She said she was stuck.
No, I think when you took your headset off, what you missed with her saying that she'd basically said the drow had captured her and her mum and dad, and she'd managed to run away, and that her mum and dad were being made to mine by the drow.
Mara will approach the child, and she will give it.
Approach the child.
Mara will
No.
approach the
And
child.
I would like to point out one thing.
What?
Why would these?
You
why
look like
would
Drow.
Why would these drow? We look like drow.
Yeah,
Why are they
you look
talking
like
to
drow.
us? Why is she talking to us? Secondly, why would these drow, which are literally a stealth unit to kill people, bring back prisoners when that would obviously give it away that they are here existing in Neverwinter?
Who knows?
Alton goes into full prisoner mode. He's like, run, child, save yourself. These beasts will have
No.
your heart and eat it
Come.
whole.
Come
I
to
am
me.
seriously thinking about blasting the girl.
How
No.
many gallons do I have?
Mara will approach the child.
No.
Reach the child.
No.
Mhm.
Mara will give it some ration.
Okay. I would like you to make a DC 18 Wisdom save.
I mean, this is wisdom. Oh, that's not enough.
Okay. And the rest
No,
of you
wait.
don't see.
It is enough because
How do
I
you know?
have a +8, +9. So yes, that's a dirty 20. So I have enough. Sorry, I thought because I rolled an 11, so I was like, that's not enough. Wait, it is enough.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. Nothing happens in that case.
Here you go.
And she sort of takes it and starts, oh, thank you. Well, you're not like the other bad elves, are you?
No, it's
I
fine.
didn't know. I didn't. And she sort of
Anton would say from
shied away
behind,
from
they're
you. She's like,
exactly the same. Run, save yourself, child. You're going to be
No.
eaten.
Wait, you can wait here, and we'll pick you up on the way back.
He'll eat you. Run.
There's so many monsters here.
No.
There's big orange things that look like houses that burrow through the stone, and horrible big purple things with hooks for hands.
Well, you just hide here, and we'll come pick you up. We're in a hurry, so you just try to hide here, and we'll pick you on the way back. Pick you up on the way back. We can't pick you up now, or we'll put you into further danger.
Can Salir just have Sarek and we start leaving? Can we just start moving?
Mara, come now.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah, leave the girl
Are you turning?
now.
Are you turning to go? Are you?
Yeah.
Right. As soon as you turn to go, she attacks you.
Surprise.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
all the rolls told me to trust it, so what am I gonna do? Disregard the rolls?
I know.
You should trust your party members.
No.
he's got a point there.
You see this small girl, and she sort of makes a. You sort of turn around at the last minute, and then she sort of puts this really strange, confused, and almost this sort of jelly-like appendage sort of flies out of her forehead and smacks you, or attempts to smack you anyway, which I've just closed it down.
Jelly-like appendage.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Bear with me. Sorry, I closed the thing.
What was the little girl? Its last meal or something? Is that what we're dealing with here?
Pretty much.
Oh.
First one's a natural 20.
Ooh.
The second one is a 10. So, on the natural 20, you take...
Oh,
A lot of damage.
I bet I do. Hmm.
34 points of bludgeoning damage.
Nice.
And I need you to make another DC 18 wisdom saving throw.
What the hell?
Make your wisdom save.
Sorry, just one. You said 30,
34.
Yeah.
34. Here we are. Wisdom. I shall bring up my character sheets.
You have a +9. We literally just went over that.
So 24.
That's fine. There is no effect on save. And you see...
Move away, Mara. You are
sort of
squishy.
moving round and crawling out of a crack, oozing, sloughing out of a crack behind where this simulacrum was, is a... Sorry, it's not picking up the token for some reason.
You literally just fell for that SpongeBob movie trap.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see, well, actually, Mara, just because you're so close, make a nature check.
Sure.
You surmise that this thing is gross and has jelly appendages.
I get... There it is. A dirty 20.
Okay. Nobody would have known about this, but you can surmise that this is some sort of living ooze.
Okay.
You have heard of the more common things like gelatinous cubes and slimes. This is something of that nature.
Okay.
And what you can see is the main body of it, there was a tendril going to the little girl, and it was basically puppeting. And it just draws the little girl back into it, and she just disappears into the main body of the thing, leaving the gelatinous form with all of the faces looking at you. And at that point, I would like everybody to roll initiative. Or should we have an early break and do this after an early break?
Yeah, we can do the break.
Yeah, that might make sense. So we're not having to.
If you want, we
break
could
up
roll
the combat.
first and then.
Yeah, roll. Right, let's roll the initiative.
Natural 20. That's 20 plus 3. Actually, no, it's plus your dex, right?
Plus dex.
Another 7.
It's 22.
I rolled a 7 plus 2. So 9.
But since initiative is technically an ability check, you
Plus
use
3.
half your proficiency.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, why did you get to add your...
Jack of all trades.
It's jack of all trades for a bard.
Yeah, so it's actually plus 3, so it is 23. That's why I was confused.
That's fine. Mara?
5.
Garvin?
Oh, shit.
All right.
10.
And Celir.
4.
Okay. Right. So, as normal, Alton's top of the round. But yes, let's have a little bit of an early break so we're not have to break up the combat with this horrible gem.
All right. So we're going to be out for 5 to 10 minutes. We're just going to take a quick bio break, and we'll be straight back with some slimy children murder. I don't know how to explain it. It's D&D, everyone. Welcome to D&D.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Be right back with Goo Girl.